Um, okay, so let's get it started. I want to note for the record that I've had this debate before. However, I've had it on the opposite side, so that lets you know that I can represent and see both sides. I would
Mhm.
also like to note that my opponent was late, which is fine. I just want to note that for the record. So, yeah, without further ado, I'll get it started on my opening arguments. So, the thing that we should note during this debate is that I am not wiping away the history of what the white man has done to the black man in America. I know that we went through years of slavery and we basically did free labor, enabling the United States to be what it is today. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that after that, once slavery was abolished, we still weren't equal. I'm aware of that. My argument simply here today is that the people who deserve reparations are the generation that suffered through the disenfranchisement, the unequal inequalities, as well as potentially their children. Now, we've made it too far. We've gone too far in order to claim reparations. I would like to
Mhm.
say that reparations have been done in America before. You have the Japanese Americans that received reparations, but those were direct victims, as well as this is not America, but you have like the Nuremberg trials. The way that got that done was through organization. The Jews they organized against the Nazis to get their reparations, so sum of money. So Black Americans simply did not seize the moment how they should have. Therefore, currently, we do not deserve reparations. I yield the floor.
Okay,
Okay.
question. How long y'all supposed to be uh during each like person's go, person's turn?
I typically do 2 minutes for opening statements.
Two
Two,
for
two
two
minutes.
for opening. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Whenever
so it's
you're ready,
my
Moses.
turn.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. I would also like to state I think I could be on both sides of the argument, you know what I'm saying, depending on how it goes. But of course I gotta be for the foresight. I gotta be. So I argue that Black Americans deserve reparations because of the incomparable generational harm caused by slavery and the systems of discrimination that followed. My argument is not primarily based on morality, it is based on responsibility, economic development, and the continued value Black Americans provide to America and its economy. Reparations should not be understood simply as a payment. They should address the economic, socioeconomic, institutional, cultural, psychological, and spiritual consequences of what was taken or restricted. There should be institutions and groups dedicated to the continued structural progression of Black Americans and the issues affecting Black communities. I also believe reparations are not solely a government responsibility. Black Americans can and should create reparative institutions for ourselves. However, our ability to rebuild does not mean what was taken from us never owed back. Reparations are a responsibility, not a payment. I yield the floor.
Mm. Okay. All right. Good opening statements from both. All right.
Okay, so now, did you want to go off the question in the docket, or did you just want to go into
Uh,
free flow?
isn't the central question? Are we going straight with the central question, or
What was the central question again?
does the United States today have a moral, institutional, and financial obligation to repair the consequences of historical injustices committed against Black Americans and their ancestors?
Yeah, we can go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to go for 15 minutes, 10?
Let's do 10.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, I'll let you pop it off. I came out with the opening.
Okay. Does the United States have a moral, institutional, financial? I think yes, because based on what United States wants to represent, appears to represent, um, a country that embodies freedom, um I guess togetherness, cohesiveness, something that's also very blending with other cultures. I think if you should have an obligation to repair injustices in your own country if this is what you appear to be to everyone else. How can you say America is the land of the free, the American dream, say all these positive, powerful statements about the country and the people within it, but you don't do any justice for the actual wrongdoings that the country has brought upon a group of people? So yes, I do think they have a moral, institutional, and financial obligation to repair consequences that our ancestors have faced over not just one generation, two generation, three generation, hella generations. It was 400 years. How can you repair that? Honestly, but you should
That's
at
a
least
good
try.
question. You should answer it. How can they repair it? What's the practical solution?
Hold
A
on, hold
practical solution, I don't think it's about necessarily repairing. Well, actually, yes, I think it's a process of repairing. I don't think it's something that will ever be repaired because we have never seen 400 years of chattel slavery in human history. That has never been a thing. We don't know how to repair that, but you should at least consistently have an active system to produce some type of repairment that you have done to a group of people.
So, do you think Black Americans themselves believe that they deserve reparations?
Yes, not all. I mean, but yes,
Okay, so
I
why haven't
deserve, I
they
believe,
done
reparation.
anything in order to get it? For example, when I referenced the Nuremberg trials, how the Jews put the Nazis on the stand. They forced them to stand in court for their injustices. And then they did it through 23 organizations. So they built the organizations themselves and then held them responsibility. I'm Black Americans don't themselves think they deserve reparations. So to expect a handout is absurd.
Jews have a level of socioeconomic power that black people do not have.
We're the wealthiest Black
They have
people in the world, actually. Uh, Black Americans.
black people.
Black Americans.
We're the wealthiest what in the world?
Blacks in the world. So like we have the highest per income strata. You can fact check me, moderator, if
We
you'd
are
like.
more wealthy than Jews, is what you're
No,
telling me.
no, I'm telling you that Black Americans in Georgia, or I mean not in Georgia, in the United States, are the wealthiest Black people. So like of all the Black people
Compared
in
to
the
all the other
world,
countries.
yeah, all the
Okay,
other
okay,
countries.
of course.
Okay,
For sure that, but that's mostly because we live in America. Like we live in a first world country. Of course, I mean that's like a corresponding type of thing. Like, of course, we're going to be the most wealthy compared to all the other black people in the world because we're the first world country. We're probably a country. We're a powerhouse. So of course we're going to receive that. You can also say we have some of the poorest black people here because of the economic, um, I guess marginality, margin, or whatever I'm trying to say, like the separation. Um,
no sir.
do you think? So you asking me why we haven't done that? Like why we haven't put somebody on the stand, or why we haven't like
I'm
acted on
telling
it?
you, I'm telling you that Black Americans themselves do not believe that they deserve reparations. So, in order for us to say it, that they deserve it, like, what, we just gonna get a handout from the
I
government?
think you can definitely say the civil rights movement was an act on that.
What? So, did we just like stop, or like, did we
We didn't
stop pushing?
stop for sure. We didn't stop. I think currently we still do that. We just do that in different ways. And of course, America has played a strong part in silencing a lot of things that we do when we try to act on asking for reparations.
So, your response is that we're trying, but we haven't got it done. Is that what you're saying, or
We have made progress. We have made
so?
progress. What I'm gonna say.
Do you think that that effort has still continued today, like present day? Because remember, the question is, do they deserve it today? So are they even pushing for it? And then as well, like I'm actually willing to hop off that argument. I'm willing to say that the let's ask the question: are descendants are you required to pay the debts of your ancestors?
Yeah. Um, I think you. Yeah, I think you could. Yeah.
All right, so let's take it present day. Like if your
Considering that you
mother
still receive benefits from your ancestors, you can pay the debts of your ancestors.
The problem is this is not measurable. It's not like we can say you received $10,000 in benefits from slavery 300 years ago or 161 years ago when it stopped. So that's one issue with us deserving it. It's not like actually viable. As well as like if your mother dies with $200,000 in student loan debt, are you finna go pay the $200,000 in student loan debt? Like nowhere does it work where you pay the debt of your um, ancestors. And then we're talking
Yeah,
generations.
but
They didn't even know them. Like they didn't even know them.
that's why you know your ancestors, but
I
that's
don't.
why I said reparation is a responsibility and not a payment.
It's the responsibility of the government,
It's a responsibility of the country.
which is made up of people and like,
I
what do
say
you?
it's a responsibility because if you have a constitution that represents freedom, that represents cohesion, that represents progression and the positivity of all communities, the acceptance, um, and just justice as a whole, it should be a responsibility for the country.
So who's gonna hold them responsible? Like, are we gonna hold them responsible? Black people themselves aren't holding the government responsible. Therefore, they don't even
Yeah,
themselves think that they deserve the reparations.
honestly, I believe there's a lot of psychology that's been done over the years and generations that has kind of changed Black people to be a lot more complacent with this journey of reparations. So now we get a lot of Black people that think they don't deserve it or they don't need it or that we shouldn't even try to, because reparations ain't asking the government for like we need this and that. It's letting you know like, hey, like we still are a community suffering from what was happening years ago. So we need institutions put in place, like whether that's the government or maybe just other sectors of business or whatever. They need something needs to be created if you want to embody this system of justice, like what you claim.
And if you're not
And
willing
then
to
we're not
create
even
it,
talk about.
go ahead.
You
My
said
bad.
what? So I was gonna talk about even like the incarceration of Black men over the years after slavery.
2 minute warning.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So, are you saying that these institutions need to be put in place? But like, it sounds like you're just like waiting on the government to do it, which is not. This it's not gonna get it done. We've seen it from the Jews that you must do for self, and that's like a fundamental issue with Black people today. And then as well as I don't think you address my argument towards that. That says that ancestors you're not no descendants aren't required to pay their ancestors' debts.
Mm, I don't. I do think the sentence are you should pay your ancestors' debts. I mean, if you can receive the same benefits, you can pay their debts.
So like give me a concrete basis for how this is measurable. Like are we like how's reparations gonna work? Like can you explain that?
That is the conversation that makes this argument a problem because it can be a form of many things. It can be monetary. It can be political. It can be socio-economic. There's many ways that you can go about it. There can be institutions directly related to providing resources to Black Americans, providing loans, um, maybe ways of employment, maybe ways of creating schools specifically for minorities. Although we have HBCUs, um, it's just we can have specific things that are done to uproot our communities.
30 seconds.
So
30
20
seconds.
seconds.
So
30
all right,
seconds.
we have specific things. The issue is number one, where does this money come from? It sounds like it comes from the taxpayer, which comes back to the basically white America, and like let's think about that real quick. The taxpayer is not only white people here. Like you have people that didn't even contribute to slavery, like the Mexicans, Latinos, all these different communities. But now their money is going towards reparations that their ancestors didn't even commit. So now you're paying a debt that you didn't even commit.
Yeah, but
That's
okay, go ahead.
time. That's 10.
That's-
Cool.
Okay. So, quick question. Moses, you were giving your statement. You were giving your side, your argument, and you were basically you were questioning him. So, are we moving into you doing a rebuttal next? And Moses would be able to question it as needed.
We can do that.
Um,
Unless
Or,
Moses.
okay. Or what you got?
I don't think Key ever answered the central question.
Do we just do?
Okay. So we have.
No, they don't.
But we can skip past it though. We can go straight into round one with the premise. Cause I never, yeah, like I don't think I have a rebuttal for anything. Cause I think we were just already rebuttaling.
Okay.
What's round one say?
All right.
If something was, oh wait, the premise is if something was systematically taken or denied, does the institution responsible have an obligation to restore it? But the debate question says, can descendants inherit the consequences of an injustice without inheriting a claim to compensation? We were kind of already talking about that. I'm not gonna lie. So we can do round two premise.
Mhm.
Can an institution have responsibility for something its current members did not personally do? Does the United States government responsibility continue across generations, or does responsibility end with the people who directly committed the harm?
Okay.
You want to
Next
answer
10
that one
minutes.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and reread the question one time, and then I'll go try to make sure I answer it this time.
Does the U.S. government's responsibility
Key, did you hear him?
My mic. I don't know if I thought my mic went out, or did you hear him?
My bad. I cut out. My mom
No.
was calling me. I don't know why. Okay, hold on. Does the U.S. government's responsibility continue across generations, or does responsibility end with the people who directly committed the harm?
Mm.
It's not as simple as is it the descendants or the direct people that completely delivered the harm. I would say that it's within 1 to 2 generations. So like you have a span to where you actually have a legitimate claim, and if you want to seize it, and like I said earlier, this is like we've seen this through history. There have been people that have gotten reparations. They seized it when the iron was hot. So we need to. Well, you should get it within that 1 to 2 generations of it. Then we're just like asking people to pay the debts of their great 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 grandparents.
So that's your answer to it.
Yes. You could. Oh, okay.
Oh, my rebuttal though is what I say my rebuttal. Shit.
So repeat the last part again for me, please.
The government's responsibility should continue across generations because harm is still being done. There is people are still being they're not may not be directly committing the harm, but they're benefiting from the harm that was done.
All right. So give me examples of direct harm and them. I could see benefited from the harm, but go ahead and give me that too.
Direct harm, when big businesses was taking advantage of newly freed slaves of making them sharecroppers and giving them loans, um, and basically kind of going to that whole system of sharecropping and them paying them money and becoming a huge big business off of that
Can we
skill or
reference
trade
today,
or
please?
tactics.
Can we reference today?
Right.
Cause okay.
I'm talking about directly harm, and then I'm moving into how they're benefiting. those companies are still here today. Like they have a lot of money, they made a lot of capital, a lot of things they've done through slavery. It's like those families that created these institutions to benefit or from seizing the benefits of slavery or capitalizing off people that didn't know how to work with money and stuff like that. People that run those companies or work with those companies are still benefiting from that harm today.
But
Black
how
people
is
was
the
never able to
direct
catch up.
harm today? Like, where's the direct harm today? Like, we see how they're benefiting today. Where's the direct harm today?
That's what I'm saying. There is no direct harm today. They're
Okay.
benefiting from the harm.
Cool. So there's no direct harm today. Okay. So I don't even know why I did that. I don't even- but all right, I think that's enough right there. I feel like you've conceded a lot with you saying that there's no direct harm today. You're basically saying that how can we deserve? Like I would put it like this: how can we deserve reparations when we're not suffering anymore? At least directly, there's for sure is benefits, and there's still the main issue like who receives what, and like who's gonna pay out? Like, why are we gonna have some Indian family taxpayers' dollars go to some Black American that didn't even, go through the issues that their great 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 grandparents went through?
I would
Got
say
him.
this. No, because I would say this. You say that we're not suffering right now, but there's a perspective to suffering. There's definitely a perspective to suffering. And sometimes people don't know that they're suffering. I think we know that we're suffering because we're living another man's dream. If we were to create society today, say slavery never existed, it was a completely different world. We are living in another man's world. And you can say you're not suffering, but you're living in a society with ideas that's not created from your ancestors. They're created from the ancestors of people that owned your ancestors.
It's called
So you can say you're
colonization.
not suffering. Yes, colonization. And you're still suffering from colonization. Still
But
to this day.
that's the way of the world. Colonize or get colonized. Um,
Ah, that's what I'm saying. There's a perspective. That's not the way of the world. That's how
it is.
people have become, but it's not the way of the world. Like even with the Jews are a part of why the world is like the way that's a whole nother conversation. But the Jews are also the way are we live in a world created by the Jews too. A lot of things that we do and have and what we try to represent are not things of us. And I think that is suffering.
But that's not like because of slavery. Like it's like adjacent. But the reason you live in a world that you didn't build is because uh, number one, you didn't like we didn't separate. Like we didn't leave. Like after we got colonized, so we got stolen from land, and then like we stayed here. We didn't. We may have revolted, but obviously we weren't effective enough to beat the colonizer. It's just an unfortunate issue, and like I don't want to say might makes right, but the person who holds the power, which we spoke about in the book club a couple weeks ago, the person who holds the power is the person who has a monopoly on violence. So that's just what it is.
Yes, and that's the terrible world we live in now. Definitely is. And that's why I say we are suffering because that's the world that we choose to live in now. We live a world with violence after violence after violence. Who owns violence? That's the battle that we're currently facing. And I think we living in a world where we're currently being punished for something we never started. And
Being
I think that's what
punished.
reparations are. It's the responsibility. It's the responsibility of creating a life for those that are innocent.
The people who would pay reparations today are innocent.
No, they're not innocent.
Explain. Listen up, Zay. Explain.
The people, the people that are paying the paying reparations are not innocent because they are currently benefiting from the ancestors that put them in their place. Like I said, the businesses that profited off a lot of things that slave masters did, or a lot of things that slavery caused, they're still been. They live a completely different life than you.
So let's talk about what this innocence means, because I believe we need some term. We need to define terms. So all right, let's think about it in a legal sense. You are innocent until proven guilty, which means that you need a set of facts and evidence to that say that you have committed something against the law, or some type of atrocity to say that you're guilty for a crime. So can you please outline what people, the white people today, the present white Americans, have done that makes them guilty for the atrocities that they would essentially be paying for?
What have they done currently? The current white Americans.
Yeah, what is the evidence of uh, the atrocities that they've done that they're about to pay for? Like, they're benefiting off something, but
Let's
that
try.
doesn't mean they've done wrong.
This is a complicated trope because this isn't about like direct harm though. I feel like when people think of reparations, it's about a direct harm. It's about equality at the end of the day. It's all about equality. Why should we take the back seat and be like, hey, y'all don't gotta provide anything because you didn't do any direct harm, but we just gotta experience the harm
We
while y'all
had
don't.
There was a time when we had a claim to reparations. There was a time. Like, I'm not saying that we never deserved it. I told you within 1 to 2 generations, and every other group of people that America wronged, they got their reparations. But for some reason, the black Americans didn't get it, whether it was because of the lack of organization to get themselves, the lack of infiltration within the
Uh,
government. I'm giving you reasons, whether it was the lack of infiltration into the government such that you can lobby for,
2 minutes.
yeah, got you, lobby for your reparations. Somewhere they went wrong as opposed to the other groups of people that received uh, reparations. But now we're in 2026. That's a long time ago. We live in the best country in the world, supposedly, with the highest chance of being able to make something for yourself. So I'm just not hearing it.
so what happened to 40 acres and a mule?
That's it. I'm glad you brought that up. What happened to 40 acres in a mule? So, Andrew Johnson. That's what happened to 40 acres in a mule. We
Who
we
was
had,
Andrew Johnson?
huh?
Who was Andrew Johnson?
A president?
A president, the leader of the United States. And what did he do? Why we didn't get 40 acres and a mule? Because I believe we still have an Andrew Johnson to this day. And that's what we keep running into. Andrew Johnsons.
Okay, that means we need to infiltrate. That's kind of what I referenced earlier. There's the lack of infiltration has led to us not getting what
Have
we
black Americans
deserved.
not have infiltrators? Have we not had a history of infiltrators?
Infiltrators, like, um in the
People
government.
trying to supersede the government, go against the government, quote unquote, be called terrorists. Have we not have a history of that?
Yeah, but it seems that it wasn't effective enough. We weren't effective as
Why were
effective.
they not effective?
I mean, you have operations like COINTELPRO. You have just
And
general.
what did COINTELPRO do?
It was an organized effort by the government to infiltrate black revolutionary organizations.
And then when they infiltrated those revolutionaries, what did they do?
They killed them.
They killed them. They killed their own people
30 minutes, 30 seconds. Excuse me, 30 seconds.
to preserve their idea of America. You can't say we didn't do no work to try to get there when every time we get there, they get a bullet in their head. You can't say we can't do no work. So now we got to get more creative about how we do our work.
Great point. Exactly. We need to get more creative. Like, what are we just gonna do? Because we got stomped down. We're gonna quit. Like, somewhere along the way, we lost the plot.
Can you name can you name any? Because you said the Jews. Can you name any Jews that was like revolutionaries similar to revolut? Damn. All right, time's up. I was going
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. I mean, you might be able to bring it up for the next one. Okay, guys, real quick, I want y'all to be careful, um, because I'm noticing on both sides, but more on Key's side, a lot of logical fallacies, or like a couple logical fallacies that keep coming up that I I just want y'all to be aware of red herring, like bringing up something that like isn't necessarily irrelevant, but it like seems adjacent to the argument, and it's just gonna divert the attention of the argument
Hmm.
momentarily, and then the question doesn't get answered. So do everybody just do their best to stay on topic, just avoid those fallacies.
Can
But
we
this is a good debate, y'all.
can we
Go ahead.
have you like if you feel like somebody's not answering a question, can you step in and be like, "Hey, Key, you forgot to answer that question." Can you do that?
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Great
trying to just
moderation,
let you.
man.
Yeah, I'm kind of just letting y'all, get your stuff off, because the debate is smooth, but I do want to limit those. So yeah, go on to the next question or premise.
We could
Okay.
also
Do you have a premise?
I was also gonna say like we could have Zay go around where he asks us questions or
Yeah.
and then we give a rebuttal and like to help him figure out who he thinks won, who has the best side of facts. So
That's fair. I mean, right now it's not really leaning. Y'all are even right now. I'm not really leaning towards anybody's side just yet. But y'all really just started, so it hasn't really gotten there just yet. But I want to make sure y'all keep staying on topic. And
is there a topic that you feel like we need to cover that we're
um, how many questions did y'all already have like laid out?
Three.
Three.
Around.
So two more. Um, I don't know. I'll see after this next round if there's one that y'all like. If I feel like y'all probably aren't going to get to it, and I think it needs to be addressed. I feel like so far y'all touched on certain things that I would have hoped y'all would have touched on, or would have, like you said, like 40 acres and a mule, um, that type of thing. Like you're on track so far. So doing good with that. But yeah, if it's something I feel like needs to be addressed that hasn't been addressed, or I'm feeling like, oh, you're probably not going to get to this, I'll be sure to throw it in there.
I have a question for Moses then, perhaps a couple. So I would ask, who qualifies uh, as descendants of slaves? Uh, yeah, who qualifies and who would get reparations?
Yeah, I was waiting on that question. Ain't gonna lie, because biologically, there could be some white people today that qualify for reparations, and I'm not gonna like to see that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think anybody would like to see that. Who qualifies? That's why I think it's more so of a. It's more so of a community conversation than a race conversation. I don't think these reparations should be given to just based on race, because that could be dangerous. We could approach a whole nother. I don't know if y'all seen that episode of Atlanta, but we could approach a whole nother problem. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think reparations should be given to communities or areas where the damage is prevalent to what was done before. So maybe communities or hoods where a lot of black men are incarcerated at, where a lot of corner stores are at, a lot of places that don't have a lot of uh, progression as far as what's signals as a good community for a quote unquote of America. Um, I think places, definitely HBCUs, need a lot more attention as far as resources. A lot of black owned organizations. But when I say black owned, I don't mean from a racial standpoint. I really just mean for things that are given to those uh, in certain communities. I think it's a communal question.
This doesn't even sound like reparations anymore. It sounds like just giving back to the poor communities, which is not. That's not even. It's
But
not
that's it
reparations.
has to do for communities.
Wait,
Okay, Key. Okay, well then, Key. Why wouldn't that be considered reparations?
because we're not, all right. Reparations means that you're paying a debt for direct what is it, atrocities or crimes against a certain subset of people. What Moses is talking about is, hey, this community is poor. Let's throw some money at it. And it doesn't, like,
Why are they
regardless of
okay?
who's in the community, it could be Jamaican Americans in that community. You're just giving money out. It's not, you're not paying debts. You're just giving out money.
What are direct atrocities, and why can't places of poverty can't be effects of these atrocities?
Like, no, the thing is, like, how are we gonna give something out when we don't have direct lines of proof? Like, you need to be able to prove that this community is a result of what slavery or civil rights movement, whatever atrocities that they did. And then the thing is, like, it's just there's intersectionality. Like, it's not just black people in those homes. Like, whether, like, what kind of black people? Like, for example, the foundational black American is the one that's for sure would deserve reparations if they deserved it. Not Jamaican Americans, not these Africans who's the wealthy Africans that come to America. Like, just anybody that's in the poor community doesn't just deserve reparations because they're poor.
Hmm.
It actually
And I
needs to
know,
be race based.
and I noticed you
So why
mentioned
are they poor?
foundational. Key, you mentioned foundational Black Americans. Give a quick definition of that.
Foundational Black
Of
American
what?
are
Go ahead.
Black Americans that are descendant of the transatlantic slave trade that have been whose ancestors have been in this country since the start.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So it has to be direct for you.
I mean, that's just what makes sense. Like, like we can't just be giving out money willy nilly. Then the whites are even gonna get even more mad because they're giving their money just to people that didn't even suffer. So number one,
So
I didn't commit this issue, but I'm gonna pay for it, as well as we're gonna give it out to people that don't even deserve it.
so did the government not give financial compensation to white slave owners during the after slavery was abolished?
Is this a question? Like, are you asking me, did whites get a benefit from the government?
Yeah, after slavery was abolished.
Probably. It's the government they created. I mean, if you created an institution, you're likely gonna benefit from it.
Hey man, that's the answer, bro. That's the answer. The government they created, and we still living in the government.
Okay,
We still
so
living in that same government that gave white slave owners financial compensation.
can we get a fact check on that?
I mean, I can check it, but I mean, are we? Are you unaware of what he's referring to?
Yeah, I would like him to go more in depth because I believe that it's probably true, but I just like a little bit more detail.
Yes, some white slave owners did receive financial compensation from governments when slavery ended because the laws treated enslaved human beings as private property.
So why did they
President
get?
Abraham Lincoln signed the law ending slavery, and it paid up to $300 to loyal Union slave owners for each person they set free.
Okay, so
Abraham Lincoln, now.
yeah, so he incentivized the white slave owners to get rid of their slaves.
And what incentive the slaves get? Former slaves get.
I mean, they just got freedom, so that's a big step up from where they were before.
They just wasn't called property no more, huh?
I mean, you're not being whipped every day, like indebted to serve some white man that doesn't even care about you.
But I think that's where our bar is, and that's why black people don't think we deserve reparations because our bar is, well, we're no longer slaves anymore.
He did deserve reparations. That whoever got released did deserve it. I okay, but now we're talking about 2026. Do we deserve it? Does Moses deserve it? Does Key deserve it? Does the white man that goes to my school, does he deserve to repay reparations?
Yeah.
Real quick on the act that we were referring to, the District of Columbia Emancipation Act,
Mhm.
April 16th, 1862, freed enslaved people, and this law freed enslaved people in D.C. and it gave up to $300, which would be worth 10,000 today. Essentially, in this
Well,
case, gave it only really paid them back for like one slave. I would say, or like a couple slaves, not like the entire plantation. I would say,
mm,
um, but it's still them being it reimbursed for what would be considered lost goods, lost property, or what have you. So yeah, that you could. I don't know if this is just more so to solidify the fact that it happened. You could try to say that it's an inconsequential amount. That could be argument from either side, but either way, it does certify that this did happen.
I,
Um,
w- I wouldn't
yeah,
say
I
the
think
amount.
Master.
I wouldn't say the amount is inconsequential. Like it definitely is not. I mean, it's a twofold thing. It's bad because number one, you had slaves, but it's also good because we like you just incentivize people to get rid of their slaves, and then I would say, like I said earlier, that slave that was relieved, he deserved reparations. He like received direct disenfranchisement from the white government at that time or the United States government.
do you
Mhm.
think if so you think your great grandfather deserved reparations, but not you?
Do I think my great 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 grandfather deserved reparations, but not me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think he would think that about you?
that's a good question. If he saw where I was today and saw how far Black Americans have came, he might say,
I still want you to get the reparations.
he might say, you might deserve it, but you don't need it, young man.
uh, I don't believe he would say that, man.
I don't know.
That's your grandpa, though, man. That's your great
I
grandfather.
see. Here's the thing. I don't know. Like, here's the exact point. I don't know nothing about
Ooh,
him.
that's another thing too, though. That's another thing you don't know.
I don't know him.
You don't
I don't know
know.
him at all.
You don't have no record of him either.
Exactly, which makes this is what makes reparations hard. Like, do I deserve
You don't think?
reparations?
No, I'm gonna get you. You don't think you deserve to know your family's lineage? Because that could be a
Probably.
reparation.
So, do you think the reason that I don't have my family's lineage is because of like what are you getting at?
Slavery.
I don't know my family's lineage because of slavery, and hence I deserve reparations because I have a lack of information.
No, you deserve a reparation would be to know your lineage.
A rep? How is that? How are we gonna get this done, Moses? Like we got the Black Panther
No,
Party
because
over
you're
here.
you're thinking reparations are only like financial compensation. It can also be like, hey, here's your great grandfather, his name, what he did, their family.
So are you saying this
You
is
don't know your.
historic? Like if this is stored somewhere and they're just withholding this information?
It's not the fact that they're withholding it. It's the fact that you deserve to know. You deserve to have this information. You deserve to have something given to you from slavery that was stripped away from you. That's what reparations are.
Wait, give me. Let's get a definition for reparations.
I got it.
Okay.
Well, about a minute and a half for this argument. Okay. Reparations mean the making of amends for a wrong by paying money, giving aid, or providing services to those who have been wronged. The term typically applies to large-scale political or historical contexts, such as payments made by a defeated country after a war or compensation provided to groups targeted by systemic human rights violations.
Okay, so notice he said Moses like after a war, like probably directly after. Um, so so
You
like
gotta be
That's
directly.
no, I was about to say that's one example. It doesn't just say war is the cause. War, war reparations are an example of reparations. That's a type of reparation. But the second half of the sentence said, or compensation provided to groups targeted by systemic human rights violations, which is what our debate is centering on.
so what was the last systemic human rights violation? Are we suffering that today? I'm talking to Moses now.
Are we one more time?
Give me a systemic human rights violation that is going on today, or within recent history that would qualify us for reparations. Bro is looking up.
Oh,
Bro is going on Google, bro. Can we not?
you asked me for a fact.
Yeah, I asked you,
Hey.
not Google. You're right.
You asked me for a fact. I wanted to be factual, man. I mean, an example of that,
Were you saying
maybe.
something?
Definition, unless it's for a definition, like we want an exact definition, we just keep it to what we are pulling from our mind or pulling from our notes as best as
Exactly.
we
Okay,
can.
my bad. I was cheating, bro. My fault.
You
Um,
good. You're fine.
can I pull like an exact or something that's recent? I can talk on it a little bit. I know recently, I know Asian people got something. There was something. There was an act that was
Quickly
giving
though,
them.
real quick though, how recent do we need the event to be?
Well, he's making a
Like, do you
just.
mean within our lifetimes is recent, or like within our parents' lifetimes?
I'm
How
hoping.
how far back can we go?
I'm hoping he can give the latest and then make the justification for Black
Yeah,
Americans today.
I'm gonna make a good distinction. Now, I don't know if y'all heard about the Asian Discrimination Act thing. I don't remember the exact name. Are we familiar with that?
Mm.
Okay, Zay is. So I can't explain to you exactly what it is, but it was something to prevent from discrimination from specifically Asian. I don't know if it's Americans, Asian Americans, or just Asian people. We don't even have a discrimination act for saying nigger.
What
We
is?
don't have we don't have nothing. We don't have a discrimination act for saying anything towards black people.
Let's number one. Let's look at the act that you're just talking about, and then let's look at how you use that. You said saying the hard R word, but the First Amendment of America is freedom of speech. Like,
But why do Asians get a discrimination act though?
but let's look at what's in the act. Like, how are they?
Yeah, Zay, go ahead for the act, Zay.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the act like to define it, but remember we're trying to stay on topic.
Good
So
Yeah.
point.
yeah, you were trying. So you said Asian American uh Discrimination Act. Okay. Okay. There is no single U.S. federal statute formally okay. Instead, historic Chinese Exclusion Act, immigration, da 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 da. Moses, I know what you're referring to, but the name of it is
The
not
COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act.
19 Hate Crimes Act. Okay.
COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act.
Oh, okay. COVID. I think it did. Yes. Uh, while modern protection against anti-Asian discrimination law falls under general civil rights laws, like Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act passed in 2021, which is here. Let's see. There's an overview.
It
This
sounds.
bill requires
Go ahead.
uh, DOG, Department of Health. The bill establishes grants for states to create state-run hate crimes reporting hotlines. It also authorizes, so these do fall under reparations. It also authorizes grants for states and local governments to implement the National Incident-Based Reporting System and to conduct law enforcement activities
Before
Or
we
crime.
keep going, I want to
Go
stop
ahead.
right there. We don't even have discrimination acts towards black people that are killed by police men, and we've been doing this for generations. Black people been getting killed by police for years, and we don't have any discrimination act. Why do Asians get a discrimination act that prevents things like that? Stuff like speeding up the review for reporting police or whatever he was saying, like
There's a simple
that is
answer.
a reparation.
Here's the thing, Moses. Sometimes I question like whether you understand how the American government works. You have lobbies. You go lobby the government in order to get these things. They don't just get handed out to you. You have to have infiltration. You have to have black organizations. You have to have you know what
Do
APAC
not have,
is? You know what APAC is? The Jewish.
yeah.
You have to have these groups that hold money to go lobby these things. Like you're requesting, like we're in a government that doesn't favor us, which you clearly agree to, but you act like the our enslaver is just gonna give us things.
Do we not have an NAACP?
Are they getting it done? Are they lobbying the government?
And I'm gonna ask you this though: who owns the NAACP?
Probably some white man.
There you go.
Yes, that's the problem.
Also, keep in mind the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, while, upon reading into it further, it doesn't specifically refer to Asians or any race. So it technically is meant
Oh
to
damn.
protect all of them. Um, but given the time and like the context in which it was brought about, it was not brought about because of something
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
happened to black people, which is more
Hypothetically
so
though,
what Moses is saying. But yeah, the law itself
hypothetically,
is generalized.
hypothetically, if I were to look it up and see an AI overview, it would say that Asian Americans are
Here's
in
guy.
the description.
Bro, and let's also say this. I think you said, correct me if I'm wrong, you said like blacks didn't get any like discrimination acts. Number one, we just got DEI, which I mean, it could go either
That's
way.
not for us.
I would
That's
say
not for us.
I'll give you that one. But like we also have like what is it, the Crown Act that you can't discriminate against black people's hair or whatever. Um,
That's
what?
new, ain't it?
Huh?
Isn't it? That's new, right?
No, I think that's been around since maybe the 80s or 90s, maybe actually early
Right?
2000s, maybe I don't know for sure.
That was like a recent thing. I don't
So
know. I'm not
that's
sure.
I say that to refute that your argument like black people don't get anything nowadays. We do.
Can you provide something that we do? Because you said the hair thing. That's that's not enough weight. That ain't enough weight. Come on.
But it's an example that shows you that we do get some things. But what is your request of me?
My request is, can you name something that is tangible, that is something that we have that was given to us as a form of reparation, or actually as a form of something that we have to actually, yeah, just form of the reparation.
Something that was given to us. Mm, there probably is something, but I don't have an answer for you today. I can't.
That's fine. That's
Uh,
fine. To answer this question, why don't we have organizations? Why do you think we don't have organizations
Because black
in
people
place?
aren't making them. Like everything
Black
is
people are
self
the main.
ownership. Everything has to be self ownership. You can't
Do
rely
you
on.
you think we don't have organizations?
I mean, we do. Like, but your question presupposes that we had none. So
I think we have some, but you have the position of saying that we don't make any, or we don't have any real weight with them, I guess.
yeah, I would more so lean towards that. Either all right, so we might have them, but they're not being as effective as alternate communities, such as we can list the Jewish people. Like number one, they have their own police and force in New York. They have APAC. If anyone says anything about them, uh, like you have like this fear. So they made a concerted effort to make sure that they are not disenfranchised. And then also they, like I referenced earlier, they got their reparations right after the atrocity. And this is fact. They held them on trial.
Mm. Do you think do you still think we still experience atrocities today, Black people?
Not any that's systematic. Perhaps some of our own
That's not
doing.
systematic.
Not systematic in the way that hey, there's a concerted law or a political politician that is like, hey, we're gonna disenfranchise black people. Good point. I know. I know.
I think we have atrocities in our community that are done to us that we are powerless against.
Name one,
Police brutality, for one.
bro. Do you know the statistics on like police brutality? I don't have them exactly, but I
We can
know.
talk about statistics all day. We can talk about statistics all day. What do we see? What do you experience when you reach a cop?
Mostly, I live in Atlanta, so like last time I got pulled over, the last two times the cop was black.
Okay, you live in Atlanta, which is a privileged place for Black people. I'll say that. Anywhere else, what is that feeling? You get pulled over by a cop. Is it? You think that's a normal American feeling?
Bro, here's the thing though. The government is just so it's not race based anymore. It's so everybody's getting done dirty. The white man, the Arab man, the Mexican man, all of them are getting done dirty. For example, there was like a viral video, like this white woman, she had literally a nubbed arm. Like she had a nubbed arm and she got pulled over and then the police
I think I
walked
see.
up. Exactly. The police walked up and was like, I saw the phone in your right hand. I don't have a right hand. Everybody's getting done dirty. It's not just black people. It's the wealthy versus the poor or the middle class.
I yield the floor. I yield. What? How much time we got left?
Yeah, I didn't even set the timer back. So that was the end of the second round, or was that the third
That
round?
was the third.
That was that was third,
That was
third
the
and
third.
final.
Okay, okay. So now we'll be moving on to
Close.
closing statement. All right. By the way, the Crown Act, like the most recent version, because there was a slightly older one, but the oldest one is from 2020. Um, and it's been, there's several versions of it, several versions of this bill, specifically named the Crown Act, all from the earliest is 2019,
Okay.
and the most recent is 2025.
And what does it do?
Let's go to the most recent one. This bill prohibits discrimination based on a person's hair texture or hairstyle that is, if that style or texture is commonly associated with a particular race or national origin. Specifically, the bill prohibits this type of discrimination against those participating in federally assisted programs, housing programs, public accommodations, and employment. Persons shall not be deprived of equal rights under the law and shall not be subjected to prohibited practices based on their hair texture or style.
Okay, cool.
What year was that?
Say again.
What year was that?
This is 2025.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say that's new.
But yeah, but when I looked at the one on the top of the list is 2022, and then looking at the 2019 version, it says yeah, they all say the same thing. So
Okay.
there weren't any additions to it or amendments to it um, over time.
Okay.
Okay. So, are we moving straight into closing statements, or did you have any questions for us, or just go to closing and then you'll decide who won?
Yeah, you guys can go ahead, jump straight in.
Okay.
I'll go. I can go.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
for me, reparations aren't about guilt or simply receiving a check. They're about responsibility. Black Americans inherited not only the history of slavery, worst thing in human history, by the way, but the economic and social consequences of the systems that followed it. If institutions help create that harm, those institutions have a responsibility to repair it. And repair can mean much more than money. It can mean rebuilding wealth, institutions, opportunity, and community. We can build for ourselves while still holding America accountable for its history. Oh shit. Um, because our ability to rebuild doesn't mean nothing was taken. Reparations are responsibility, not a payment.
Okay.
I use the floor.
So I want to say that at no point during my argumentation did I excuse the atrocities of the United States government. My argument was simply that there was a time for us to seize reparations, and there have been historical groups and times of when the United States government paid reparations to such people that seized it. I would also like to say that Moses never had an answer for the unfair, like if reparations is paid out, there was no solution to the Indian Americans, the Asian Americans paying for the atrocities of a fundamentally white government. So he never had an answer to that, and there's fundamentally there's no solution. And in 2026, Black Americans, he couldn't represent that Black Americans are directly suffering today. So with that, I yield the floor.
Before we conclude, I don't want to have a rebuttal, but I want to say two things. One,
This guy.
One, Zay, whatever you say, you have to give it to Key because if you choose me as a winner, you're going to be seen as biased. Two,
I know.
two, I think you need to ask us a question before you choose your winner. It doesn't have to be like a debate again, but I think you need a question to
A
certify.
single question for both of you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me think of something real quick. All right.
And I won't feel any type of way based on who you choose. The only thing I ask of you is to do everything self-contained. Forget your personal biases. Who made the best argument today?
Oh, here's the thing. I was going to give y'all a grade individually, as if I was because this is as a teacher, especially as an English teacher. A debate is something I love to do. I love the movie The Great Debaters with Denzel Washington.
Okay.
So I feel somewhat strongly about like the structure of having like, you know, just having a debate or like a Socratic seminar even, um, like a round table discussion type of thing, right? So I'll give y'all both individual. I'll give you individually a grade. Before I do that, let me ask the question here. So my question for you guys is, if there are no reparations, the issues that are there no issues currently going on in terms of uh, a systemic sense that need to be accounted for?
Is this to both of us or just one of us?
Both of you. If you think so, why? If you don't think so, why?
Go ahead, Moses, please.
So you're saying like outside of reparations, like does the system need to be accountable for something that's happening to our community?
Within our community, yes, because I feel like the debate was centered mostly on things that were done to our ancestors in the past tense, and as if that was so atrocious that it has trickled down and bled down to the current generations and those who are in power now, would they have to be held accountable? Now, my question to you both is there enough going on now that is being caused by systems or institutions or businesses, corporations, things of that nature that needs to be accounted for?
Yes. And I'm gonna answer this question. For one, for the way of the timeline of human history goes, I have to say this. Slavery was not long ago, so we do still experience the effects of slavery today. That's just based on the timeline of human history. 400 years ago, and a whole time span in human history is not a long time. But to directly answer your question, currently now, America knows it has to be held accountable. That is why America invests so much time and effort to kind of pushing our attempts away. Because at the end of the day, we keep attempting, and they just keep turning us around, putting the blindfold back on. And I think America knows it has to be accountable because it spent so much time and effort doing that, and we have proof of that over generations of time. So yes, they do have to be accountable.
When you say they, you mean like who
America
exactly?
as a
Like,
country and those that
yeah.
control it.
Okay, those that control it. Okay. Key, what is your response?
Okay, to your question, no, there is no systematic, there's no systematic effort by the present day government in order to, in efforts to disenfranchise uh, any group of people, specifically the black man. I believe that with all of the parties and how liberal people are, like if we were even doing that, people would start to revolt harder. So I think that we have a much weaker claim to systemic issues in present day.
Hmm.
Can I add one more thing?
Bro does not just answer the question. He
Uh, Wait till after I give you the grade, then I'll hear
Okay, I'm
it.
getting
All right.
ready.
All
Okay, yes sir.
right. All
Take your
right.
time.
So, Key, for the selection of the topic, I'll give that an A. You know, this is a good topic to discuss and get to the bottom of. Uh, but I have to deduct points from both of you because I feel like you guys only got so far with this, and we could have gone a little bit deeper to actually answer some of the greater questions surrounding this topic. Um, so from that standpoint, I'd have to say you would get a B. Moses, I'd have to start you off with, well, everybody, both of you start with an A, but I would take points away from you also because it, the fallacious, like I said, the logical fallacies of like, oh, this, but what about this thing? And it completely diverted you from answering the question. Um, and it felt like you were easily distracted at some points in the argument. Or like when it seemed like you had a couple points that were extremely solid, like really, really, really solid points you made that Key didn't really have an answer for either. Um, but I think you had more of those instances for yourself of not really having a strong enough counterclaim to whatever he was asking or the questions that he presented to you. Your answer seemed to lean more in uh, an emotionality or an ethical sense, which is a good thing and it's appreciated. But this debate seemed like it needed to be more logically involved on both sides than it was. But Key was definitely prepared to be less emotional about his side that he took. But this again is I can tell both of you could have picked either side and understood it. I do feel like there was a genuine understanding of both arguments and both sides that were being presented. So yeah, I said both of y'all would get a B. If I was giving y'all a grade, I'd give y'all both a B. Y'all both pass. But I would definitely want to see y'all do it again, but with, you know, more focus and more like hitting um those arguments a little bit more, like sticking the landing a little bit better on some of those. But it was a good debate. It was a solid debate for sure.
All right, all right.
So who won?
If I had to pick a winner,
Well,
just talking.
how about this? At least tell us
Okay.
who won each round, and then we can go
Okay.
into.
Yeah, I can give you that. So
Wait, both.
remind me of the question.
Who won overall and who won?
I'll give you over. I'll give you each round, and that'll pretty much say won each, who won the whole thing. So go. Could you remind me of the question for round one,
Yeah,
real quick?
We also
round one
had
was
opening statements as well, so you could also use that as a measure.
that's true. Opening statements, closing statements.
Fair enough. I'll use the opening and closing as like the tiebreaker or something like as like its own. I'll put those together.
Okay.
Basically, I'll keep those together. Okay, so
First
uh,
debate question, or the first, it was a central question. So it was the does the U.S. today have a moral, institutional, and financial obligation to repair the consequences of historical injustice committed against Black Americans and ancestors?
I'll give that one the key. I'll give that round the key.
Okay. Did we get a why?
That was when I was. Well, actually, no. I'll take that back. I'll reverse it because that's when I noticed you were using a lot of those red herrings. It's the red herrings were throwing me off in that first round. I didn't say anything, but I think I didn't say anything during the round. I wanted to, bring it up after the fact, and we kind of moved on from there. But there were a lot of those, and Moses, you didn't necessarily get tripped up by them or anything like that, but you kind of just, you know, business as usual. It didn't necessarily change the pace, but you didn't call him out on it either. So that's
Okay.
something that, like, in the future, that would be something you would want to be aware of and be like, okay, first of all, you're not even referring to the topic at hand, that type of thing. But yeah, so I'll give Moses that round. An opening statement though, if I just had a great opening statements, separate from closing, I would give it to Key.
Now my
Um,
opening statement was pretty fire though. I'm not gonna lie. My opening statement was pretty fire. But go ahead though. Go ahead.
it was good. No, it was good. That one's pretty close. That round was pretty close, but I think um he came out of it like overly prepared. So I'll give him that, like, the edge for that first round. Or the opening statements, and then the first round I give you the edge. Now, what was the question for the second?
The second one was, does the United States government responsibility continue across generations, or does responsibility end with the people who directly committed the harm?
This one was hard because that's basically why I asked the follow up question that I asked at the end. Um, uh, I'll give this one the key. I'll give this one the key. Um, not not as solid and cohesive, but I think after you was a lot more on topic. Both of you were more on topic in this round. But I feel
Okay.
like, yeah, Key was able to catch a few more things in that round. So yeah, I think I'll give it to him for that one. Okay, so what was the third premise?
I believe I asked this one. I asked them who qualifies, uh, for reparations, like all Black Americans or another group.
Hmm. Okay, so was this the round when y'all were saying like if we were giving reparations to the neighborhood, and Key, you brought up there may be people who may look basically they may look black, but they aren't actually black, like let's say Jamaicans or Haitians, and they may be able to receive the benefits of this based on the fact that they resemble the people who would actually be legitimately included in it. I think that was a good way to rebut that, to refute Moses's response that he had to the question. Um, hmm, that's a solid last round. And then Moses, you at the end you did yield.
That is true.
You
I did.
you
I felt like the
yeah.
conversation wasn't going anywhere, so I yielded. I can hear you.
Thing during this my fault. Yeah, my alarm had went off. That was my only thing with this with the debate. Um, from you specifically, Moses. I felt like your points that you were bringing up were better than Keys um, throughout, but you weren't able to defend them nearly as well as you needed to. Not the whole time. I think you definitely defended some of your points very well, but more. I feel like more throughout, more often than not, you backed off a little bit too easily. When I felt like neither of you were hitting the other with something so hard that because it was aware that both of you were like very aware of certain things but didn't know the exact date, didn't know the exact names of things of that nature. So there was a lot of, oh, let me look this up, let me check this out, let me go find just to be sure, which isn't a problem because this isn't a this isn't a gubernatorial or presidential debate. You know, this isn't a class president debate or anything like that. This is just a back and forth between brothers. We just getting our thoughts out, and it's the structure of the discussion is a debate, but this is essentially a discussion. So for that, from that standpoint, I would have to give this round to Key as well because Key did not back off. While he did do it a couple times. He never backed away from his argument because you never really put him in a position that he had to. You know what I'm saying? Like he never really seemed like threatened, so to speak, by anything that you were saying. There was a couple times when you made very great points, and I was like, because I was interested in how you would carry it, and it was going somewhere, and then at some point, he might have asked you a question, and it didn't, it either completely diverted your attention towards something else that was either on topic or slightly off topic, but still adjacent enough that it wasn't worth being like, hold on, wait, da 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 da. So yeah, that was the only thing with that. But still, like I said, solid points made throughout.
Okay, and then closing statement.
For the closing statement, I think Moses' closing statement was solid. Key, you sound like you tried to do um I just want, for the record, I never said that,
Yeah,
uh,
he read his off a
blacks don't
paper.
deserve,
It
yeah, hey,
is what it is. I'll work on it.
yeah, yeah. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. And you still dress like spy versus spy, you know what I'm saying? You still clean. So, it, at the end of the day, you did your thing. So, yeah, I think, how many rounds is that? So
That was
that's
five.
two for, that was
Three with
five
the
total.
three, but open and closing. So 5, yeah.
Yeah, five altogether.
and you gave
So
me
it went
3.
3-2.
Yeah,
3-2. Okay. So yeah. Key pulls it out.
Yes,
damn,
sir.
bro.
Yeah, yeah. But this
The
is
big
not.
game.